Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So tonight I'll be talking about my views on relationships. Remember to subscribe and like my channel, YouTube channel. Also comment on it and share my videos to everybody. Well, one of my views about relationships. Okay, I think to me, to be in a relationship, first I think you should, whoever you be in a relationship, you should be starting being friends first, trying to take your time to get to know them and see if you guys are compatible, and see if you guys want the same thing long term wise. Even though y'all two people are different, in fact that if you want the same thing, it really goes a long way, because in a relationship now, both parties has to be in it to win it, and it's a two-way street. Just like friendship, it's a two-way street, so is relationships. And to me also, relationship is a whole other level. You can argue about relationship and friendship has similarities, but they have differences, and in a relationship you have to compromise more, and you have to and I think relationships are more intense. The arguments and things intense, and then you have to, loyalty really comes into play. I mean, of course, in every relationship, things are always going to be good at the beginning. You date, you're courting, as they call it. You take your time. After you develop chemistry in the friendship level, and you take it to relationship level. You might even learn more about the person that you're with in a relationship, and you take it from there. As I said before, relationship it's a two-way. A one-way relationship won't work, because based on my experience and watching things that's do relationships, that whenever it's one way, it's a disaster, because that one person is doing everything is going to resent the other person for not doing squat, and they're going to complain about, oh, this person ain't doing nothing, oh, this person is not putting much into a relationship, and things like that. So one thing over one of the reasons why one-way friendship relationships won't work is because if you're in a situation where, let's say, you two guys live together and one person paying all the bills and one person doesn't do anything, after a while it's like the person who's doing everything will start to feel burdened and feel as if the other person not putting much. And as I said, arguments get intense, and there's a lot of things that can end a relationship. One of the things you definitely gotta have in a relationship is communication. You guys gotta be able to communicate with each other about anything, even the deepest thought and thing. I mean, to me, if you can't communicate with a partner, then you probably have to ask yourself, we will evaluate, being why the heck am I with this person? Those kind of questions you have to wonder, or if this relationship is worth it. Because to me, as I said, if you can't communicate, then it doesn't make sense to be with him or her. And if you have to do certain things in a relationship, you have to track the person. I wonder where whereabouts is and thing. You have to look to the phone constantly to wonder if the person is faithful or loyal to you. Then that's another thing you have to reevaluate, because to me, if your partner is not around, you shouldn't wonder or worry about whether or not they're cheating on you. If the day comes you have to wonder that, then it's problematic, because that person will accuse it over and over. Another thing, the last thing I want to do in a relationship is give the person reason to suspect that you're cheating, which that's why most relationships these days fail, because when it's all good, it's easy to be faithful and loyal and commit to a relationship which is all good. But over time, what I've learned, that relationship that really last long last even through situations that things are rocky. And that's why, to me, that's what really decides whether a relationship is for real or not. Not just things are going good, because as I said, that's the easy part. You're not going to cheat when things going well. It's when things get dicey, all of a sudden you'll be like, you learn even more with the person. To me, one of the reasons why people cheat, and I hear this all the time, and the reasoning behind it, male or female doesn't matter, is it's ridiculous. It's like their needs are not being met. But to me, if your needs are not being met, I think you should communicate about it instead of just going somewhere else. Because let's say you're already going through something and you decide to go cheat just because your needs are not being met or anything else. See, what most person don't get is that the consequence of cheating is two possibilities. Either the person who will be cheating is going to stay with you, or they're going to leave. And even if the person stays with you, because the trust is already breached, it's going to take a while before that trust is built back again. And trust is a foundation in any relationship. So without it, the relationship is doomed. In fact, you could have everything else. But if you take out trust, just that about alone, you're asking for trouble. Our relationship will have ups and downs. That's one of the things to me is unavoidable. You're going to go through stretches where things aren't going to be the same after a while like it used to be in the beginning. You're going to go through that stage. I'm sure every relationship will go through that. You're going to go through moments where you guys argue and fight and get into it from time to time. I think to me it's okay to get into arguments as long as they're not name calling your partner by name calling, nothing like that. I'm going to degrade them to a point. I think one of the things they want to have in a relationship is verbal abuse and calling them out their name just because yada yada yada. I think you can fight healthily, fight fair without name calling, things like that. And if you have problems, if there's a circumstance where you have to also go get a fresh year and then come back and solve the problem, then do that. But it's better than if with it, and then self-awareness is really important. If you know within yourself, say you're going to say stuff that you're going to regret, your mind, so just walk away first and then calm down for a good while, and then when you're done, you come back and solve whatever issues you got. And to me, in a relationship, what you also should do also is when you have problems, you should never address it. You don't want to wait till later and then you address it. It's like, to me, when you wait till later to address a problem, it blows up. All of a sudden, it becomes a whole other issue altogether. So I think you should address the problem there and there, and you shouldn't wait until later to address that problem. And then to me, as I say, you should have to address problems with your partner. If you can't do that, then it's problematic. Then you have to wonder why the heck I'm with that person. As I said, both parties gotta be in it to win it. If one person checked out all of the relationship, that's also trouble, because the person who's checked out all of it will literally won't do much less effort. Will try to do what it takes to check it out relationship. Either they'll tell you straight up, which unfortunately most of the time you're not gonna know, tell you straight up that the relationship is over. One of the things they might do to sign a relationship is go somewhere else, go intimate with someone else instead of being straight up. One of the things that I hate the most is that lack of communication, where you feel a certain way instead of being direct about it. It's like you're playing this kind of games where you play passive aggressive nonsense where you affect other persons. To me, if you're in a relationship, the problems that have is to you and the person, not outside the world. You should keep it. Let's say you live together and you have issues. I think instead of going to social media, you should keep it in the household between you and the person and discuss it there. So whatever issue you have should stay right there, so, and take it from there. Compromise is one of those things that's important as well. Let's say one person want to go movie and I don't want to stay home watching TV. That's where the compromise starts, because it's like, goal is to me, you have to try and meet each other's needs. And one of the reasons why a relationship fails is because when things get rough, it's like one person is like something happens and it's like it gets to a point where one person talk about their needs only and forget about the other person's needs. That's problematic, because then the person is like thinks you're selfish, and you don't want to be with persons who are selfish and think. Okay, persons when you want to avoid. You don't want to avoid being a person who are narcissistic. You don't want to be a person like that. You don't want to be a person who's a liar, lie to you constantly. That's a lot of trust being breached. One of the mistakes that persons make is that they say upon asking where you're going, you say you're going to a certain place, but then they find out later you're going somewhere else. You're not at where you should be, and that's also problematic and also breach of trust, because if you're lying about your whereabouts all the time, it's going to become a point where anything you say, there won't be squat you say. And one thing I can tell, persons with trust issues can make you look miserable. So that's another reason why trust is important. When you have the trust now, if you guys get into arguments because you trust each other to solve the issues, you won't have to worry about person constantly accusing you or anything like that if they trust you. If that person don't trust you, it's a different story altogether, because and they suspect you're cheating, the more accused of cheating you're gonna get, it's ridiculous. Could I imagine it already? Another thing that person don't get, I think I said this before, but when you cheat, as I said before, there are two possible ways. It's either the person will leave you or they stay with you. But if you stay with, there's a possible chance they might get into an argument and they might bring up the same crap that you did against you. Which you might avoid that. That's why you should avoid cheating altogether, even when you guys are going through problems. Because when you're going through problems, the last thing you want to do is complicate the problems even worse. Honestly, some person will do anything that it will help them. Is like drinking and trying to get drunk. Talking to someone who's drunk, don't have much experience, but if you ask me, it's kind of worse. I've seen person complain about persons being eating and drinking and things like that, and it's hard to talk to someone who's drunk, because I think you're drunk, your mind is not straight. Better off you being, sober when you discuss problems than you're being drunk and you're crazy and you could act any type of way when you're drunk. So you could happy or you're angry and things like that. One of the things I really don't get is that you treat a person a certain way and you expect how you treat the person won't come back and bite you in the foot, and then go to someone else thinking that there's a thing called the grass is green on the other side. To me, that's a trap, because they may go somewhere else, they may find out something different. So if you have that person who will be there for you through hard times on a constant basis, you should keep that person, cherish that person, because it's hard to find persons that will be there for you on a regular basis. Heck, they're not perfect, but as long as they're being there for you on a constant basis, you're good. One of the most important things that I think couples and relationships have is relationship with God, because if God is at the center in your relationships, you're in luck, because whatever situation you go through, you can relate the issues to God and give him the strength to solve whatever issues you may have, and he may also help you to go through whatever temptation you may be facing, because facing temptation if your relationship is unavoidable. And one thing I can tell you is like, whenever some person face temptation in a relationship, they seem to crumble under that situation. And another thing to that is put them in a situation where they in a position to do something that they do not want to do. They say, one of these men always say is that some men always say is like, I want to protect my family, which that's their main job to do. But if you want to protect your family and thing, you want to put yourself in a position where you do something crazy that jeopardizes your family, and to a point where your family get broken up because of the crap things to do. And it doesn't matter how many kids are off either. If the relationship ain't going the way you might as well broke it off a co-parent and take it from there, rather than subject you keep to frap. So as I said, having God as a center in your relationships is the most important thing that you should have. And that's one of my views on relationships. So that's it on my YouTube channel. Hope you have a good night, and like my videos and subscribe to my channel. Have a good night.